It's official. Things just took a shocking turn for the New York Knicks as we have a breaking news update to go over that is going to change a lot for the Knicks, including Mike Brown's rotations and his plans specifically, as other players will now be taking on new roles, while the Knicks will also be looking to make changes for this team to cover a huge need going forwards. And we are going to go over all of this, the new news story, the impact that it is going to have, and what the future outlook looks like, both in the near and farther points of this NBA season, and also down the line as well when you consider the subsequent moves that are in play now. And we are going to break all this down. There's so much to go over on the Knicks right now, and before we jump into it, if you're part of that 56% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe so you stay up to date with all the latest Knicks news. We are on stuff instantly when news comes out, giving breaking news stories, so much more around the Knicks as well. If you want to know ball, this is the place to be regarding the Knicks. And let's jump into the video, guys. There is so much to talk about right now because, as we know, Landry Shamet went down with a shoulder injury not that long ago against the Orlando Magic. He bumped into Wendell Carter Jr. and grabbed his left shoulder and ran off the court right into the locker room. That is the same left shoulder that Landry Shamet dislocated in the preseason of the 2024-25 season, which ultimately led to Shamet getting cut by the Knicks using a G League second overall draft pick to pick Landry Shamet. By the way, the Knicks did have the first overall pick as well. They picked Matt Ryan. Shamet ended up getting the role because he played better in the G League for a bit, came up to the Knicks, and ultimately became this fan favorite type of role player who was hitting quick trigger threes and playing with incredible effort and being a very underrated defender as well, who just gave the Knicks everything they needed in that moment in time. Well, Shamet's done way more than that this season for the Knicks. So when this news story came out regarding the fact that, as Shams revealed, New York Knicks guard Landry Shamet will be reevaluated in 4 weeks with a right shoulder sprain. Shamet has been one of the league's top shooters, shooting 42.4% from three, and emerged as a starter before sustaining the shoulder injury. Well, Knicks fans, they were crushed by this news because it does mean Shamet will be out at least a month with what is being called a shoulder sprain, despite the fact that many do think he dislocated that shoulder again. In 21 minutes per game, Landry Shamet became one of the most important players in the Knicks, shooting 42% from three, 45% from the field, given 71% of his shots are from behind the arc, putting up 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist per game, playing really not the best defense in the world, but such high energy, high effort defense that it was really important for this team, while shooting 48.5% on corner threes. Landry Shamet, for all intents and purposes, is that guy. To see Landry Shamet go down with that injury is absolutely brutal because we knew that Shamet was out, but he was being taken as almost day-to-day for a while. The Knicks saying, no, he's out with a shoulder sprain. No, he's out with a shoulder sprain. And the question was, is it a shoulder sprain or did he dislocate his shoulder? As we know, ever since Leon Rose came in and took over this Knicks team, he has been very weird with describing injuries. Julius Randle, forever after he dislocated his shoulder, there was noise about what it actually was. Like, oh, he has a shoulder injury. They didn't really disclose it, though you could visibly see that he dislocated his shoulder. If you looked at the footage of Randle going down with that injury, you could see the shoulder blade popping out. But at the same time, they were like, oh no, he's rehabbing, he's working, he's lifting weights, he's back in the gym, he's doing everything he can to get back on the court. He should be back on the court in a few weeks, maybe a month. Then a few weeks and a month would go by. It's like, oh, he's still working, but he's getting closer. Tibbs would always say he's getting closer. We think that we're going to get him back soon. He's such an important part of this team. He doesn't want to get surgery and have the season ruined. Before we know it, he's in that ambulance outside going to go get surgery. We saw this happen before as well. We see the Knicks sort of not disclose injuries. We saw them do it with OG Anunoby's elbow, which was an issue right after the Knicks traded him, mind you, and that caused some fear. Obviously, it all worked out okay, but OG as well in that ambulance for a point. And Leon Rose not disclosing, or Leon Rose from the top down decide that the team will not be fully disclosing injuries. Now, when we look at Shamet's injury here, this is directly after, this is the best view of the shoulder we have. We don't necessarily see any part of his shoulder that looks damaged. It looks the same. I mean, yeah, there looks like there's a bump right on that, right above his hand, but that's also just the way his shoulder is kind of angled and pointed. It doesn't look like anything's popping out or like he does have a dislocation. Now, obviously, it's a bit of a blurrier image that's taken as a screen grab from a video, and he was covering his shoulder the entire time because of the pain he was in, the instinct to grab onto it. So with that in mind, it is tough to fully tell. However, the fact that he's out a month with a shoulder sprain is very concerning. Now, a big part of this, something to note, is he never got surgery on that shoulder when he dislocated it. He did a lot of rehab and did physical therapy to strengthen the muscles around to keep that shoulder intact. That is your other option when you deal with a dislocation. I've dislocated my kneecap 3 times. Highly don't recommend dislocating anything. Worst pain I've ever been in my entire life. But in regards to that, I didn't do knee surgery because I was playing rec basketball. I'm not getting surgery for rec basketball because I'm not nuts. But in Shamet's case, it's tough for him to opt to get surgery because if he does, his season's over. That's a 6-month recovery. His contract isn't guaranteed at all. He can be waived before January, and it's no cap hit on the Knicks. They can go to free agency and decide, oh, all right, we'll bring in someone else then. We'll look for somebody else to sign. There's some free agent wings available we could go for. We could always try to use Pacome Dadier in that role, or even consider trading Pacome Dadier for someone else who's maybe more of a veteran. Mix Pacome and Gershon Yabusele. Look for a trade there. Look for a few guys, a name that could come up in the deadline later on. I was trying to think of one off the top of my head, like, I know this guy's kind of involved in trade talks. I wouldn't like this deal as like a Bilal Coulibaly type of guy, but someone who could fit in as that next wing for this team. So with the Knicks, in their case, Shamet, if he opts for surgery, he knows he gets cut. He knows that he's getting cut. So he does not want to get surgery. Now, Ian Begley also gave an update on this, saying there is optimism that Landry Shamet can rehab the shoulder injury and avoid surgery. Shamet has a right shoulder sprain. It's his left shoulder. It is his right shoulder, excuse me, and is currently rehabbing. League sources confirm. All things considered, it seems to be good news for New York that Shamet avoided more severe shoulder injury. Now, I do have to make it very clear, I was saying it was his left shoulder. It's obviously his right shoulder. I mean, you could see it in the mirroring with just me and him right now. But, no, it's his right shoulder. Still the same shoulder that he injured, though. That's the point. It's the same shoulder that was an injured shoulder, which is concerning because you look at the guy, it's his shooting arm, which is kind of the thing. He's got a quick trigger motion. His hand's fully under the ball, so even if you go like this, like you can feel the little bit of strain in the shoulder right there as it is. You do feel soreness in your elbow and shoulder if you take 400 shots in a day or something like that. You're going to feel it. So Shamet, he's going to work his way back, or at least he's going to try to, but if he's not making progress, Leon Rose will cut him. He will cut him and feel no remorse about it, and then go out there, look in free agency, either sign someone with that remaining money, which is probably likely, and then also maybe still look to trade Yabusele and Pacome Dadier for another player as well. These are all very, very likely scenarios that we now have to look at. Now, the Knicks, they will have internal options as well to cover, which are also important to think of. I mean, Deuce McBride will likely see some games starting right now, depending on when Mitchell Robinson doesn't play. Right now, Deuce's shooting has not been great. The shooting splits are not ideal. Obviously, a lot of his shots do come from behind the arc, but 36% from 3 is not as good as you usually want to see Deuce shoot. But he is still their best point of attack defender, puts up 10 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. Deuce is great. I'm not trying to say that Deuce isn't great, and I do expect his shooting numbers to go up. He's a very good shooter, and we know that. The other option is Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson's averaging 11 points per game with 2 rebounds and 2 assists, shooting 34% from 3 and 48% from the field. Clarkson is someone who the Knicks might look to start, but Clarkson and Jalen Brunson in your backcourt is not exactly the most ideal thing. Something to also note here is why Deuce feels more likely is considering the fact that the Knicks will be willing to start Deuce. I mean, we saw the Knicks start Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, Cat in a recent game against the Brooklyn Nets. We saw them do that. They'll do that again. They'll start Deuce because the contrast is more similar to OG Anunoby with the defense right there. And also, in a way, Landry Shamet. Clarkson dribbles the ball a lot more than Shamet. Not saying anything bad about any of them, though. I think they're all great. I do love the Knicks role players, so it sucks to see all these guys go down. Shamet was also important in the playoffs. Even when Tom Thibodeau wasn't playing him, the front office called Tibbs up. It was like, you got to play him. Look, Tibbs is still behind me right there because I still haven't gotten my new edit yet, but we're working on my new background. It's not me who makes them, but look, here's the thing. Shamet put up 6 points per game and 2 assists with a rebound as well when he became a rotation player during the conference finals against the Pacers. And he was great. He shot 54% from 3. He was playing excellent defense. He was a huge part of the Knicks winning a game. The Knicks fans were chanting Landry Shamet's name. And also shout out to Tommy Beer for some excellent stats on Landry Shamet as well. The most effective two-man lineup in the Eastern Conference Finals for either team with a minimum of 25-plus minutes played was Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright last year. They posted a net rating of plus 28.4 with a 123.9 offensive rating and a 95.5 defensive rating. Neither Shamet nor Wright played in the first 2 games of the series, which New York lost both of before the series started to go a little bit more back and forth, where ultimately we know what happened. Now, on top of that, another Tommy Beer stat is the fact that Shamet cooked at the end of the year last year when he got some minutes, and only 2 players in the NBA averaged more than 7 made threes per 100 possessions in the final 10 games of the regular season. Steph Curry and Landry Shamet. And the Knicks' best net rating over the final or over some of the last 7 games of the season were Tyler Kolek, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Payne, Karl-Anthony Towns, and 5th was Landry Shamet, having a better net rating than Josh Hart, OG, Precious, Mitchell Robinson, and DeLon Wright. What we saw was a Knicks team that was better when Landry Shamet was on the floor. What we've seen this season is a Knicks team that's better when Landry Shamet is on the floor. Shamet matters a lot to this team, and they're gonna want him back more than they're going to want to look for somebody else in free agency, because there are names in there, and I am going to do a video directly after this one talking about those names. But at the same time, Shamet's better than a lot of those guys, and also it comes down to it. If he's healthy, Leon will keep him on. If not, Leon has till January to decide to cut Shamet and then use that money elsewhere. So now it's time to see what is going to happen. But there is a lot to follow up on, and we are going to keep you updated on all of it, guys. So make sure you subscribe to Knicks Digest, like this video, turn on post notifications. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy your day before Thanksgiving celebrations, and obviously enjoy your Thanksgiving as well. Go Knicks. It didn't stop recording, man. It was such a good ending, too.